Hi, if you're watching this video, you're probably already a partner of Zebra's, or even more specifically, a partner of mine. I had the opportunity earlier this week to sit down with Nathan Clevenger. Nathan Clevenger is the Director of Design and Development for Zebra's application virtualization office. Application virtualization is the process in which Zebra can take a legacy Windows application and recompile it for either a newer version of Windows like Windows 10 or Android. This solution that we offer stems from an acquisition that we made back in August, and Nathan was the CTO and co-founder of that organization. Why this is important is because Microsoft is sunsetting support for any legacy Windows operating system, including Windows 6.5, which is on many of the mobile devices that have been sold over the past couple of years. What's interesting to note that Nathan will mention is that for the first time ever, Microsoft has broken the chain as far as forward migration goes to newer OSs. That means that end users that have a application written for legacy versions of Windows are going to have to rewrite for something, whether it's a newer version of Windows or whether it's Android or something else that comes along. I put together videos like this on a fairly regular basis. If you find that the content is helpful and informative, please hit the subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. And now on to my conversation with Nathan. How has consumerization impacted the rugged device ecosystem?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because for the last 10 or 15 years we had a rugged device ecosystem that was using purpose-built devices with a purpose-built operating system. There was a roadmap of OS releases that was very scheduled and forecast, and enterprises could look at that and make their purchasing decisions. And now what we're seeing is not only are we moving to an environment where there's multiple operating systems fighting for control of this rugged ecosystem, but all of the modern operating systems are now based on those consumer-driven operating systems. These are the operating systems that are actually built for consumer smartphones and are now being repurposed for enterprise applications. And that has a number of implications. Not only does that mean that the rate of change is dramatically faster, so OS updates are coming much more frequently, but also there's a greater expectation for high user experience in the apps. Because
that's what they're used to with their consumer device.
So if you have a smartphone in your pocket that has apps with really good user experiences, and someone hands you a rugged device that's running the same operating system as the smartphone in your pocket, you probably can't get away with the crappy user experience that you might have seen on a lot of mobile apps of yesterday. So
well, I would say that makes sense. So Microsoft's announced that by the year 2020 that they're going to end of support all the legacy OS systems they have. So that includes like Windows 6.5.3, which is on a ton of our handheld computers out in the market space. When you're talking to a customer, talking to a partner, why do they have to migrate to a new OS? What's the reasoning behind it? Let me put it that way.
Sure. So whether the customer wants to go to iOS, Android, or next-gen Windows, whatever option they have to rewrite their applications. There's a belief in the market, I think, that if you stick with Windows, moving from say Windows Mobile 6.5 to Windows Embedded 8 handheld or Windows 10, will be a similar transition, like
say experience in the past.
Yeah, like Windows CE 4.2 to CE 5 or to Windows Mobile 6.5. Yeah, it was a little bit different. You might have to go in and make a few changes, but for the most part, your apps just worked. Microsoft wasn't deprecating APIs. They might add some new APIs. They might change some of the user experiences, but we did actually an analysis of the APIs from Windows Mobile 6.5 to Windows 10 mobile handheld. And it turns out only 11% of the APIs still exist.
Wow.
So even if a customer is sticking with Windows, and even though the apps are still built in C# and .NET, with only 11% of the APIs, you're talking about pretty much a complete rewrite.
Well, I would say that's amazing. I didn't realize that. I'm not a programmer, so maybe that's why. But so I guess thinking this out, so a lot of people who watch these clips are some of our reseller partners. So what opportunities does this kind of present to the partner base?
Yeah, so I think the real opportunity is to help customers see that while it is a pain to migrate all of their applications to a modern OS, there are a lot of benefits. These devices are much more powerful. They have a lot more memory. They have a lot more processing power. The wireless connectivity is much faster. There's many new sensors from GPS to NFC to RFID. So really using this as an opportunity to help customers look at their business processes, look at their workflows, look at how their workers can increase productivity, and really drive, positive business outcomes for the customer.
That's excellent. And when you said that, it made me think that, and we didn't talk about this prior, but now might be the time to talk with your customer, if you're partners, talk to your customer about maybe enhancing their process. They may be using a written application that's 6, 7, 8 years old. Their process of change, they've been kind of using, kind of band-aiding their way around it up to now.
Yeah.
Now's the time to maybe take advantage of that now.
Yeah, so you might be doing things like batch syncing in a cradle as opposed to using, wireless. Now that you have much faster, much more reliable wireless connectivity out in the field, there's many opportunities to change and enhance, re-envisioning, that workflow and that business process.
All right, Nathan, thank you. Appreciate that.